is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. If you guys have seen the last one, you guys saw us pull apart the RX7 and find some stuff that was less than ideal. This thing was harboring a good amount of damage that honestly made the car drive in a way that was inexcusable, and we're gonna have to fix that. Now, in the last video, I asked you guys for a bunch of opinions on how I should go about fixing it, and you guys gave me a bunch of ideas, and we're probably actually gonna be trying one of them out today because I just got a very large package from Amazon, and this thing should hopefully be helping us out today. So I guess in the process of finding out everything that this car is gonna need, let's start with the easy stuff. First off, you guys saw we got a brand new cross member because, yeah, our old one is not in the best condition. It's a little bent and will not work for our intents and purposes. Upon a little more inspection, we can see how bent this ball joint is compared to the other side. That one's completely straight, and this one is absolutely not. It's pretty gross. So I'm assuming that the control arm took quite a hit, the ball joint took quite a hit. Back when it actually happened, I replaced the knuckle because this brake rotor was actually dragging on the inside of the caliper. So that's already brand new, and that's already good. At this point, I've got a small little amount of parts. This is a new control arm. I got some new control arm bushings and two brand new ball joints to be put on. So I'm gonna go ahead and tackle getting those installed onto the new subframe. Then we can go ahead and tackle the real issue of today, and that is my bent frame rails. I hope this works. I'd have to say she's probably chooched, boys. So I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap the new one that we got from a junkyard, and hopefully that one's in better condition than this one. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything apart so that we can go ahead and measure the control arm to see how bent it actually got, because I'm pretty sure it probably bent a good amount. So this is probably leading to a little bit of that positive camber that we were seeing. And it looks like a little bit of a caster misalignment also. So this should basically take care of most of our alignment issues once we get the frame straightened. I guess they had to make sure it got here in one piece, right? So if we have ordered this correctly, we should be receiving an S4 control arm for an RX7. And that does appear to be the case. The FCs have basically two different generations of them. They had a few minor changes in between them. One of the differences between the two main versions of the FC is that the older models had these 2-bolt style ball joints, where the newer ones actually had a full control arm that came all the way out to here and had a press-in ball joint. So the nice thing about ours is that if we need to replace ball joints, we don't have to replace the whole control arm. I'm pretty sure on the S5s there aren't actually replacement ball joints that you can buy for it, or at least they're hard to find. But we lucked out and my car is actually an S4, which means that I get the bolt-on style, which means I can replace it with a bolt-on ball joint. All right, so since we're gonna be replacing the bushings and the control arms with our brand new energy suspension polyurethane bushings, I'm gonna have to remove these two bushings from our new control arm. I'm not gonna lie, they're not the most fun to do. So with these guys, we're gonna pretty much have to cut these off. As you guys can see, there's an outer rubber layer, an inner rubber layer, and in between those, there's an actual metal piece. So we have to cut through the outer rubber layer and the metal piece, and try not to cut into the aluminum of the control arm as much as possible. If you nick it a little bit, it's not a huge deal. But I'm gonna go ahead and get my Dremel out with a cutoff wheel, and we should be able to cut that guy off. Alright, so we got the first bushing off. Now we got to get this one off. These ones are just press-in bushings, and they're quite a bit easier to get out than the other ones as long as you have a press. So I found out that the only thing that I really have available right now that's the right diameter to be able to push the socket through is a main gear bearing for a rotary engine, which is kind of fitting since we're pressing out RX7 bushings. But I just stick that guy in there, little 22mm socket, now we just pump away. And just like that, we got all of our bushings off of the control arms. So we can go put our new polyurethane ones on, which are quite a bit easier to fit, and put this all on the subframe. So we're back at the bench. I've got my new bushings from Energy Suspension, and we're gonna go ahead and install those on our control arms. You guys can see I cleaned up the shaft nice and well. You always want to make sure your shaft is nice and clean before you insert it. The new bushings are different than the old ones because they're actually just solid polyurethane bushings. The straight ones are just solid bushings, and then a little sleeve that you got to press in the bolt slides through. Super easy install, honestly. It comes with 2 small packs of lube. You want to make sure to lube both the shaft and the bushing when you're inserting these on there. Just like with all good things in life, you never want to go in dry. Squeeze some of that lube into the bushing. Just smear it around, make sure we got good coverage. And this guy should just push onto this. Might be a little difficult. Oh, she's tight, dude. Oh, wow, dude, I just got queefed on by a fucking control arm bushing. Okay, so that's fully inserted. You can see we still got a good amount of movement. And you do want the flange side on the front side of the control arm. Dude, this stuff is like, it's tacky. I don't like that feeling. So we'll go ahead and grease both the inside and the outside of these guys. I'm not gonna lie, there's probably better ways of doing this. But I'm already this far. That one's all done. We can go ahead and put a ball joint on it, get on to the next one. Then we're gonna have to start straightening the frame. And I'm gonna be honest, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't just stalling doing that because I'm really scared of what the outcome of that is gonna be.
Nowadays, nothing really is ice. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blingy, she icy. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. No, G's, no, please, no photos. Hit the door and the domain just whole team here might need some. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up, wait till I old producers saw the numbers one. Different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up, talk of the town where you're talking up. Wanna get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets dull. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause the hate and the jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really is ice. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice.
So we got the new subframe completely assembled. We got the new ball joints, new control arm, new bushings on it. Now we're pretty much ready to switch gears and get to spreading the RX7 out a little bit. And that is precisely what we got the big red for. And this thing's a unit. So the big red's basically a giant hydraulic ram that we're gonna be using to spread the frame rails on the RX7. It comes with its own little hydraulic pump. This guy just hooks up to this, and then we should, in theory, be able to spread this thing apart. So to use it, all we're gonna have to do is take these caps off of the hydraulic fittings and hook them up. Then we're gonna have to start building it out. I'm gonna go ahead and stick one of those guys into there so I can use the flat base plate. That's gonna be on the good frame rail because we want the biggest surface area on the one that we don't really wanna move too much. And then I'm gonna end up using something like this for the other one. We got a bunch of extensions to choose from. I'm not really sure which one we're gonna need. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try this guy. Start with that. Hopefully that's gonna end up being wide enough to spread the frame rails out. So we got a little bit of movement. That's honestly, it's looking promising. I'm not gonna say that we're good yet, but it's not looking bad. I'm gonna take out the transmission just so that I can get a little bit further. It looks like it does bow in a little bit further up that way. But honestly, this is gonna work. Dare I say it, boys? I think we did it. I think we did it. So after a good amount of using that hydraulic ram and doing a little bit of hammer work, I think our frame rail is pretty much straight. I took some measurements and it's pretty much at the same exact spot that the FC that I took reference measurements was at. So at this point, I kind of don't see why we shouldn't be able to just throw the subframe on and see if it fits. If it fits, then we're all good. And then once we know it fits, we can go ahead and throw wheels on, and hopefully our camber is going to be somewhere that's acceptable. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the subframe on there. Cross your fingers, boys. If this fits, we're ready for an engine. We are ready to put this thing together. So we just got finished with a whole lot of work to this thing. Now it's time to bust out the angle finder and see if all of that work was worth it. I really hope that we got at least close. What do we got? We're at 90 degrees exactly. Perfect. So that's pretty much the same as the other side is. So all in all, today has been a success. We finally got the FC suspension back to where it needs to be. And honestly, I couldn't be happier because that means that we are that much closer to getting her on the road. So pretty soon we're going to be assembling an engine for it. I still have to figure out the brake situation with the master cylinder, the booster. All of that stuff is just super bad from it just being so old. So I'm going to have to figure out a replacement for that. A lot of the parts are discontinued though, so I don't know how it's going to happen, but we'll figure something out and I'm sure you guys will be the first to know about it. So if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more of this content, make sure to subscribe. And with that, I will see you guys next time.